A top of the table clash coming up today, but don't you hope so. We're not in danger of being top of the table. We're playing the team who are top of the table. We're mid-table. That's still a top of the table clash, right? Hello and welcome to part 94 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we play top of the table Southampton, and then we're away from home against mid-table Derby. Both in the Championship. We're not actually mid-table, we're just outside the playoffs. We're actually in a pretty iffy run of form, though. If you look at our last 5 games, we haven't won in our last 4 games, just the 1 win in our last 5. We can go back further and say, 3 wins in the last 10, 11? We need to sort our form out a little bit if we are going to be challenging for promotion. Automatic promotion is already gone. That's not going to happen now. Southampton and Forest are running away with it a little bit. A huge gap behind Forest to Stoke in 3rd place. We'd have to make up 13 points with less than half of the season remaining for us to get up automatically. But remember, just like last year, we were only really looking to survive this season. I did expect second season syndrome to bite and for us to be relegated. But I think now we've been up here a season and a half, I think I'm fairly comfortable that we're a fairly comfortable Championship team, and hopefully in the second half of this season we can push on and get ourselves into the playoffs at the end of the season. But to do that, we need to be picking up points, maybe not against Southampton, but we definitely need to be getting a result against Derby in the second half of the episode. But you never know, we might pull off the result against Southampton, and this is the team we're going to put out there to try and do exactly that. We've got Watson in goal, a back four of Wearmouth, Wright, Rogers and Teasdale. Harrison, Fernandez and Sawinski are the midfield, with Moss in behind Matondo and Harris. I mean, you pretty much knew that team, other than the fact that Gregson would normally be in at right back, but he's currently injured. Championship player of the season so far, but he's now out for a month or so with a fractured upper arm. So Teasdale is going to get an extended run in the team, but that's really the only player who isn't part of our regular starting 11, and fingers crossed Teasdale can come in and play just as well as he has been when he's been deputising throughout the season, because actually he's, I think we mentioned before, it's probably our most well covered position now, fullback. We've got 2 very good options on both sides. Southampton still have a team full of lots of real looking faces. I don't know if that means that they're just really old now, considering how far in the future we are, or if it means they've got a really good side. I'll let you lot judge for yourself by looking at who they've got playing for them. I don't recognise any of those faces, but there's a couple of I vaguely recognise that name. That's not who I think it is, surely. It can't be. Right, let's I know, yeah, we are keen to avenge what happened last time we played in Southampton. Look at all these options we've got. Let's avenge what happened last time. Everyone else is keen to avenge what happened last time too. It is Andre Silva, as in the one who plays for... Does he play for Sevilla in real life? I know I've used him in a thumbnail. I don't know if he's still there. That's silly. That's very silly that we're now coming up against a player like that in the league. Although he must be getting on a bit now. It's 2028, almost 2029. We'll have a look at him after the game and work out what the situation there is. Remember, Southampton were relegated from the Premier League last season, so this is largely a Southampton team that was built for the Premier League and then just flopped a little bit. But the ones that they managed to keep hold of are obviously putting a runaway promotion bid back on again. And it's only Forest who were able to even attempt to keep pace with them. But what I was trying to tell you is, in a little bit of a break from tradition, I'm not drinking coffee during the recording of this episode. I'm recording this in the evening for the first time in a long time. I've got hot chocolate. I hope it's not going to make me too sleepy before the end of the video. But, you know, this whole school holidays nonsense, not only do you have to suffer with our reduced schedule of only releasing 1 episode a day, I'm suffering too by having to play Football Manager in my garage on a Sunday evening. We've just won a penalty. Matondo, that's actually a bit of a soft penalty, and the player who made the foul was already on a yellow card. It wasn't enough to warrant a second yellow, but Matondo has got the penalty to take and scores and puts us 1-0 up against Southampton. His 20th goal of the season now for Matondo. Surely Stoke must be looking at Matondo and thinking, let's bring him back for the second half of the season. Even if they don't intend to play him, by taking him away from us, it means there's one less club challenging them in the playoffs, because without him, we would be seriously struggling. But hopefully that's not how the game works, and we're allowed to keep him, not only keep him for the rest of this season, but then hopefully sign him on a free transfer when his contract expires in the summer. Wearmouth now, on the left-hand side, crosses towards Harris. It doesn't make it all the way there, but comes back to Wearmouth, who crosses to Matondo, who's been fouled again, and now with 28 minutes on the clock, has another penalty. And it's Matondo, again from the penalty spot, with the chance to put us 2-0 up, and of course he does. Home 2, Southampton 0, 2 pretty odd. I mean, I'd be checking for unusual betting patterns before this match and checking the referee's bank balance, because they were 2 very soft penalties, but we're absolutely not gonna refuse to take them. We'll happily take, even if it is a fiddle, we'll happily take a fiddle to allow us to beat Southampton. Only one team so far this season has managed to beat Southampton. If we can be the second team to do that, that would be utterly delightful. But I suspect they're going to have the riot act read to them at half time, and it's going to be a different story in the second half. They've had 3 shots in that first half, not one of them on target. We've edged it as the better team, but with a lot of help from the referee. Right. Don't get complacent. Yes, don't get complacent. They seem happy with that, and hopefully Southampton, I want to see them crumble. I want to see the kind of form that got them relegated from the Premier League last year. This is what I want. Nervous, anxious, frustrated, disinterested. That's exactly what I'm looking for from this Southampton team today, and fingers crossed that's how they remain for the rest of the game, although they have just had their first shot on target in the entire match so far. Somebody said to me that when you're playing well, praise does seem like I fired them up with praise. I've never shouted praise before, but not only are Southampton still looking like they're not interested, we're now fired up again, just because I said, you're doing all right, lads, you're 2-0 up against Southampton, good work. You do that at half time, it ruins the game, it breaks it. But I'm getting excited that I fired them up, but hopefully we're not going to go and concede a goal. Wright heads it not very far clear. And Southampton, oh, look at that tackle from Rodgers. Rodgers now breaking free. We've got a counter-attack on here. Rodgers releases Harris on the right-hand side. Matondo's in the middle for his hat-trick. It doesn't make it to Matondo. Wearmouth with the shot that goes a little bit high and a little bit wide. And we are going to make a substitution. And Nick Moss is going to come off for Furlong. Probably Tony Furlong's last game for us. He has got a transfer arranged. He's going to be joining UCD, University College Dublin, on the 5th. Actually, he's probably got time to play a game or 2 more for us yet. He decided he didn't fancy it anymore. So he's going back to Ireland, where we brought him in from an Irish team. I forget which one. And we're also going to bring on Sir Mick Powell for Anthony Harris. We have got Drew Whalen back on the bench now, who you'll remember from the start of last season and from his successful loan spell that he had in the second half of last season. He's fighting his way back into first team contention, but in a game like this, how do you bring on a youngster when you've got Sir Mick Powell on the bench? And here's Matondo. And who is that charging in the middle? It's Furlong. Releases Powell. And Sir Mick Powell with his first goal of the season. It's Christmas. His first goal of the season. It's an absolute screamer as well. He's the definition of big game player. Look up big game player in the dictionary and you see Sir Mick Powell grinning back at you. Only needs one touch. Easy peasy. Every time you think, he might be done now, surely we're not going to ever see anything special from him again, he just shows up and does something special because he's Sir Mick Powell, and that's how he rolls. We're going to bring Perry on for Sawinski for the last 10 minutes. Perry, who, once again, is going to feel hard done by that he's not in the team. I don't know if you saw before the match that he's training better than everybody. He's always top of the training reports. Means nothing. I still don't play him. Southampton have got a penalty now. Can Watson pull off the save? And he was miles off his line. Again, the referee. I mean, he's going to prison, surely, because Watson was a good 3 feet off his line when he made that save. Powell, back to Teasdale. Teasdale into Furlong and Perry and Lerick Fernandez to top it off. He doesn't, either does Wearmouth, and 3-0. 3-0 will do. Like I say, only one team had beaten Southampton before this, and we've comprehensively beaten them after only 1 win in 5 games, and we've just announced to the world that we're back in this playoff hunt, because that was excellent. Good work, gentlemen. Let's go and do the same again against Derby. 2 changes for the Derby game then, in the interest of rotation. Both changes are ones that I talked myself into during the last match. So Perry does come in for Fernandes to start in the midfield after training so well. And Bradley can come in and start at left back, giving Wearmouth a rest because, as I said before, we've got 2 very good options in each fullback position. And look, with those changes, we actually have an entire 11 of players who have got whatever that colour is, the yellowy, greeny, I'm colourblind, above a 7, plus options on the bench. In fact, Loic Fernandes has made his way above a 7 as well. Goodness me, we would have been there without the changes. That would have been the first time in a good long time. There's no Sir Mick Powell on that bench. I've spotted it early, and I'm going to resolve it by taking Knowles off the bench and putting Sir Mick Powell on. Easy peasy. See, we let the assistant manager pick the bench, but sometimes we overrule him, mainly to get Mick Powell involved. That's usually the only reason I overrule him. What? No Sir Mick Powell? Let's get him on there, shall we? Right. What shall we do? We'll do some avenging again, please. Excellent stuff. We never did have a look at Andre Silva, did we? Remind me to do it after this. I'm almost certainly not going to do it after this game either. I'll try and remember, but if I didn't remember it when we were actually playing him, I'm even less likely to remember it at this point. I guess we could do it now. He's not going to score. There's no fear of him scoring against us now, is there? So he is 33 years old now. And, he's had a decent career with Southampton. For us to come up against this guy in the Championship and him not play particularly well, I'm pretty happy with that. We'll call that a bit of a result. There we go. We'll continue with the Derby game. Actually, Southampton not top of the league anymore either. It looks like they're crumbling. Although, maybe it's because they're not playing today. Or nothing's happened in their game yet today. But Forest do seem to be taking advantage of the little bit of a slip that Southampton are currently going through. And the top of the league, as it stands right now, that's going to upset the Derby fans. So they're probably going to be out to put us in our place again after giving Forest top of the table as a Christmas gift, because it's Boxing Day, boys and girls. That's a good goal. Oh, that's a very good goal. Goodness me, look how happy they all are as well. It feels mean to not sort of be happy with them on Boxing Day, but I'm not, because I want to win. We've hardly brought any fans here. We've got this tiny little corner up here that are wearing the green/black shirt. We all know it's green, but some of you say it's black. But everywhere else around this ground is Derby fans. So that makes me a little bit sad. We need a few more home fans. I guess it's a big ground though in Derby. I used to sometimes eat my packed lunch. Well, not a packed lunch. I'd go to the Sainsbury's next to Pride Park, get myself a meal deal and eat it in the Sainsbury's car park with Pride Park sort of looming next to me when I used to work over that way. There you go. There's a Kev fact you didn't have before. I used to regularly hover around outside Derby's ground eating a prawn mayo Sainsbury's sandwich and a bag of crisps, and it was a lovely time. Right, we still want to be avenging. We're now passionate avenging. Which it's probably the best kind. We usually assertively avenge. Now we want to passionately avenge. Perhaps we just can't avenge without Loic Fernandes in the team. Perhaps he's the key to all of this. Bradley now trying to make me forget that Wearmouth's also not playing. Mutondo trying to win a penalty again but doesn't. Bradley with the cross looking for Harris, doesn't make it to him, and it's Teasdale who finds Perry. Just prove to me that you should be starting. Moss plays Bradley in. There you go. Lee Bradley is proving to me that he should be starting ahead of Wearmouth. I mean, Wearmouth is one of the best players in the league, but Bradley's just scored a lovely, lovely goal. It's his first ever goal as well, it just said. Having to push him so far forward. I imagine he's getting nosebleeds playing in such an attacking position, but that is a lovely finish. Starting to look like a winger, which is, of course, what any home fullback needs to do as a top priority. Don't worry about defending. If you can get forward, do some nice crosses, score some nice goals, then you'll be a fullback who is forever in my favour. Right, I want to bring Drew Whalen on. I know we saw Mick Powell come on in the last game and score a goal, but I might bring them both on. We'll do the Prince Chiddy's just come on for Derby, right? If I was going to say let's have the past and the future come on together, especially now the in-betweeny bit that didn't work out is on the pitch as well. We've got to go past and future. So Sir Mick Powell playing as a poacher, Drew Whalen playing as an advanced forward, and Prince Chiddy on the other team, letting us all know what might have been. We're going to show some passion as well, and hopefully the combination of Whalen and Powell can prove that they always were better than Prince Chidi, who I only really signed because I liked putting the guy from The Good Place on the thumbnails, and I think I only did it once. If he'd have been a long-term player for us, though, goodness me, would you have seen him on the thumbnails a lot. Right, Harrison to Sawinski. Sawinski tries to release Semic Powell. Powell is in. No, he's only 26, but he doesn't have the oomph anymore. He's played 400 games by age 26. He's playing like a 31-year-old. He reminds me of Michael Owen once he got a little bit older. He's not old if you look at his birth certificate, but he can't run anymore at 26 years old. Drew Whalen has just scored a lovely goal, though. His first ever goal for home. And it could be a goal that secures us 3 points in the Championship. So we might have a new homegrown hero coming through here. It's a lovely pass from Moss and an equally lovely finish from Drew Whalen, who I hear is being described in some quarters as the new Anthony Harris. Came through the home youth team. He is one of our Patreon players, I believe, as well. So another Patreon player to make the breakthrough and grab a goal for us. How many's that now? Are we keeping track? This is why Home Football Club need a Wikipedia page, so we can be keeping track of all the homegrown heroes and their exploits. That's not the sort of thing I'm going to do myself, but I'm sure there must be someone out there amongst you with enough time on your hands to create Home Football Club, a Wikipedia page. We've already got a Twitter account with 3,500 followers. If the people of Wikipedia try and get you to prove that it's a thing that deserves a Wikipedia page, there are going to be plenty of football clubs on Wikipedia with less Twitter followers than this one. Now, I know they've got the whole, we're real. Well, we've got shirts and more followers. We've probably sold more shirts than some of them too. We want a Wikipedia page, and we want it to tell us all about the exploits of the homegrown heroes, the youngsters who've made this football club the family-friendly delight that it is. Right, enough of my speech. Let's get another homegrown hero on. We're going to bring Lerick Fernandez on for Perry to try and see this game out. Should we praise them again? It worked in the last game. Let's do some more praise. That didn't seem as effective today, probably because we haven't played quite so well. This is probably the scenario where you do say, just tighten up a little bit, lads. But with 5 seconds to go, we've got the corner. It falls to Rodgers, and there's the third goal. Derby County 1, Home 3. Rodgers with his first goal of the season. That does move us up into the playoff spots as well. We're up. But now we've dropped down to 7th again, apparently. There's clearly goals being scored by Blackburn as well. But we might finish it in 6th. 2 wins. 2 wins is important. We are up to 6th. That thing was a little bit out of date. We are back up to 6th now. So we're going to finish the episode in the playoff places as we head towards the new year, the new transfer window. We do still have transfer budget knocking around. But of course, the big fear is that Stoke are going to ruin our season. Not just with Matondo, but Moss, who has been absolutely key and crucial to the run of form that we've been on, especially with Tony Furlong leaving the club as well. If Stoke really wanted to spoil our fun, then they could just recall both of them. They both have recall clauses in their contracts. I just hope... we've not had a player recalled because they're good yet. We've had a couple of players being recalled because they weren't playing. If we have players recalled for being good, it'll really upset me. But I guess we'll find out about that in the next episode. In that next episode, Cup run as a potential exclusion will be Wigan and Birmingham. We'll do the whole of January unless we get an exciting Cup game. Obviously, we have to get past Chesterfield first. If we get a big game in the 4th round, we'll come back for that. Otherwise, we'll come back at the end of the transfer window, hopefully with no bad news. If you have enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.